All right, for segment 1 today, we are going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons Rules Cyclopedia experience. That's right. How do you hand out experience in the old... Is it old? Well, we're going to go with the old Rules Cyclopedia version of the game. I'm very surprised. I haven't read it, but it is 4 pages, walls of text.
Wow.
What could be that that detailed about handing out experience? Well, guess what? We're going to find out now. As soon as I click my button. Okay, there's the book. And what page were we on? 124 or was it 134? Experience.
Yeah, and it's really appropriate because last week I led troops into battle against the evil demi-human elves. And after 3 battles, I would have gained a level of experience, gone from 1 to 2. So I want to know what happens. What happens now?
You get fired.
No, I led to victory. Shut up. There is no stigma on success.
That first battle, I don't remember being a victory. We had to redo that.
We lost 8 people going up against 500. We only had 50.
8 families are suing the government for...
Okay, all right. 8 families wake up with slit throats. That's just not right.
A character's experience points total determines his experience level. The more experience points a character has, the higher his level and more powerful he is. Consequently, experience is a very important element of the game. Only through the acquisition of experience points can characters improve their abilities. Without experience, the characters would forever be frail and weak. Now, does that match reality? Not necessarily. But you're playing a game.
Yes.
In the game, there are 5 normal ways for player characters to acquire experience. By role-playing well. Oh, that's going to be very subjective. By role-playing well. We'll see what that means in a moment. That's kind of funny. By achieving party goals. Okay, that seems a little milestone-y for my taste, but we'll find out. By defeating monsters and opponents. All right, sure. Bring in the math. By acquiring treasure. All right.
Yeah. This was common in basic and AD&D and stuff like that. Acquiring treasure gives experience. I never did because acquiring treasure means you got money. That's enough of a benefit in my eyes. So I never used it.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who try to lobby for it as a game mechanic. How do I say this? In terms of gamification, I get it. In terms of how I perceive, we'll just say reality, I don't like it. But we'll see what it says here. Maybe this is a little different. I don't remember. This book came out after 2nd edition AD&D, based on games written before 2nd edition AD&D. And then 5, by performing exceptional actions. Did they steal a little bit from Palladium right there?
Maybe so.
All right, we'll talk about these 5 methods. Box text, got that. When a player performs an exceptional and appropriate piece of role-playing, you can award him an experience bonus equal to 1/20th the base number of points he needs to get to the next level. So if you roleplay well 20 times, level up.
Yeah. I mean, every time you do a really good roleplay action, you get 5% of the experience you need to go up a level. So guess what? Do that 20 times and you don't have to kill a thing.
There you go.
How do you think all of those old sages who you hire in towns got to be, 12th, 15th, 20th level? By doing sage stuff really well. Probably. Okay.
Well, when players roleplay their characters exceptionally well, the DM can give their characters extra experience points. Is this text extra fuzzy today, or is it just me?
Yeah,
it seems blurry.
It is, but it's the same as before.
Okay. Some types of exceptional role-playing include good alignment play. Oh, God, there goes the alignment. Points are awarded in a situation where the character's friends demand that he do something. And it's much simpler, more convenient, more profitable for him to do that thing. But he follows the dictates of his alignment or established personality.
Okay.
Nerd. Exceptional heroism or sacrifice. Awards can go to the character who is fully aware that he's likely to suffer greatly from his decision, and if given the option to run away or escape unscathed, makes the hard decision and performs an act of great sacrifice or bravery. Time out. Well, the game that I'm playing in right now that Bear is running, I would earn none of these.
Okay.
The High King leads from the front. Let me grab my bow. Get behind everybody. In such a case, you may want to give the character an experience point bonus, but be careful. When a character is sure he's going to win the encounter, he's not being heroic or self-sacrificing. When a character knows he can be resurrected easily, he is not being heroic if he's not being heroic if he faces death. Only when the character knows that he's likely to suffer greatly for his action is it heroism or sacrifice. And so the DM has to evaluate each noble action in that light. Thank you for writing that in here. It shouldn't need to be, but thank you for writing it in there.
Yeah, it's really easy to do cool things if you're already cool. There's no risk in it.
Can you start that comment from George?
Sure.
Thank you. Other exceptional role-playing. Finally, whenever a player performs some role-playing that really impresses the DM can award him some extra experience. I just like your style. Such a demonstration of role-playing might be an emotional encounter with an NPC, reacting to the loss of a loved one, spontaneously composing a speech that motivates the army of NPCs and improves their morale, and so forth. Hey, Heathen Dog, did I ever do this in my games?
Sometimes, but not a lot, because some people were better at public speaking than others. Some people were quicker on the uptake than others, and it would seem like it just wasn't fair. What you did do was reward good ideas. We didn't have to execute them perfectly.
You couldn't.
But if it was a good idea and it did something, then we would get experience for it. But an eloquent speech given by someone who naturally has good oratory skills that gave you +5 whatever would be treated the same as someone who said, hey, I want to give a speech, but I just want to roll, and it ended up being +5 whatever. It should be given the same weight because the characters did it, not the players.
Yeah, so you're definitely right in one regard there. I don't think I did this a lot with you. I know Garthon, when he first started playing, and I'm talking about the game you were in.
Yeah.
I know Garthon got experience at first for it. And the reason is I wanted people to see that I encouraged good role playing in that regard. I know I gave him some crap, but I gave Sheris and James Brown XP when they wanted to build that statue and they were drawing it out. If you remember, I was harping on them quite a bit because they certainly remembered that. Like, don't just say you want to build a statue. If you want to get something from this, put some detail into it. Tell me about this statue. Why is it important to you, et cetera, et cetera. And it took them time to do that while you guys were doing other stuff. So it depended on what it was. But there were some people that thought that they were charismatic. I'm not going to mention any names that just weren't, but tried to be. To his credit, Eric never tried to be. Eric did his job, and he did it darn well. But there are a couple other people in the party that just weren't as good as they thought they were at that. And I mean, what am I supposed to do? Like, here you go, you tried, even though you not only didn't convince me, but now I want to attack you. You know. But so Heathen Dog tried. I didn't do it a lot, but I did it enough to let them know that this is part of my game. Plus, when I handed them little sheets, because that's how I did it, little sheets at the end, I would give extra 100 XP for good role playing. Extra 500 for whatever. So I actually agree with what this game's saying right now. I think it's good stuff for game masters to consider. But go back to what the text said. The risk actually has to be there. The bonus given to the character should be about 1/20th the points it takes him to get from his current level to the next. Don't use his current experience point total. Use the base number. All right, fine. And they've got an example there. Hopefully you can do math. We're going to move on. Experience from achieving goals. When the characters achieve a major goal, award them experience equal to the XP value of the monsters defeated in reaching that goal. Can you put a pin on that, please? Because we're going to be talking about monsters. We're going to be talking about monsters in our combat.
I know, right? It sounds like this is in the wrong section.
Well, we'll see what it says. But what if they didn't defeat any monsters? Well, hopefully the text...
Well, it doesn't say kill. Defeat could mean a lot of things.
Right, but what if there are no monsters there? It's just a whole room of traps. Let's just see if it mentions that.
Okay.
When characters achieve the principal goal of an adventure or campaign, the DM should give them experience bonuses. Normally, this bonus should be equal to the experience point total the characters receive from all the monsters they defeated in the course of that storyline.
Oh, I like that.
Ooh, did an OSR game say story? For this reason, it's a good idea for the DM to keep track of the encounters the characters have had in the course of a protracted storyline. That way, he'll find it much simpler to recalculate this experience bonus. Okay. I mean, I generally, as a dungeon master, keep my own notes, but yeah, I mean, I might have forgot something, or I might, lost a sheet of paper or something. All that happens. So, I want to see this again, though. Normally,
it sounds like what it's saying is that you get double experience for monsters.
Yeah, it says normally this bonus should be equal to the experience point total the characters receive for all the monsters they defeated. Yeah, depending on what that next section says, that's how I read this as well. If you killed 2,000 XP worth of monsters, you're going to get another 2,000 once you achieve the goal.
Right.
Why don't you just, well, okay, whatever. I'm not mad at it yet because I'm thinking, my brain is twisting here, and I actually am starting to understand where that's coming from. But let's see what this says. At XP value of all monsters defeated, divide by the number of characters who participated in their defeat. Award the result in XP to each character who participated. This is pretty staple across all the TSR versions of Dungeons and Dragons. Right. I've actually seen people say, well, it says here that the ogre's worth 1,000 XP, so everybody gets 1,000 XP. No, that ogre's worth 1,000 XP, and if there are 5 people killing it, each one gets 200 XP.
That's right. You want 1,000 XP? Next time, say dibs.
Right. Yeah. And in second edition AD&D, using the optional experience rules, the warrior would get 2,000 or 220. Well, actually, it'd be based on the hit die. Never mind. Characters earn experience points by defeating monsters and other opponents. Defeating a monster doesn't necessarily mean killing it. Defeating an opponent can mean killing it, capturing it, tricking and destroying itself. Okay, so far I'm seeing a lot of negative here. Trapping it forever so that it can't menace the rest of the world, and so forth. Notice that all of these, none of these are like bypassing it or talking to it and say, hey, all these are like...
Or, Care Bear stare it into being nice. I don't know. Something. None of that's there.
Yeah, this one basically says somehow you're dispatching that thing permanently.
Yeah, forever. Doesn't have to be killed, but it has to be gone forever.
To calculate how much experience characters get from combat encounters, follow these steps. Find the description of the monster defeated. Got it. At the bottom of the monster, look for XP, which stands for experience point value. Got it. Take this number and multiply it by the number of monsters defeated. So if you killed 6 ogres, again, I'm making up the 1,000 XP number just for the purposes of nice, easy numbers. We can look at what it really is later. So if you kill 5 ogres, that's worth 5,000 XP.
Divided by the number of people who killed 5 ogres.
Right. And if that happens to be 5 players, well, now you all get your 1,000 XP.
Exactly.
Divide the result by the number of player characters and NPCs who participated in the defeat.
And NPCs. That's good.
Yep.
I like that a lot.
Yep.
Using NPCs to fight your battles with you may make battles easier, but you're going to pay for it at the end. They don't go up in level, but they do take away from your experience at the end by an extra hand. Nice.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah. A character does not have to have done well against the monster. He need only have tried. Oh, so the hiding under the banister isn't going to work for you. Characters who die are awarded their share of points too. They'll need the points if raised from the dead, and this rule helps deter characters from coveting their fallen comrades' experience points.
Dude, no. If you died, you did not successfully defeat anything. Shut up.
If one person dies, he's part of the group that did, and would be awarded the XP the same.
He didn't make it over the finish line.
And?
So he doesn't get it. He did not defeat anything. He was not part of the win.
He literally was there for the win. He got killed because of the fight.
He was dead. He wasn't there. He was dead. How can you say he was there if he's dead?
If I swing, 3 times and I hit twice and then I get killed, I was there. I actually fought. And I could be raised later, and it also prevents you from stealing XP. I've actually seen players try to do that. Well, he's not dead, so it should be he's dead, so it should be divided by 5, not by 6.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about
It's the
this?
same as the
Let's
money.
just see what the comments say on that. Go ahead and write in the not chat. Where this will bypass. If you're watching this video later, put in the comments and do you think I'm wrong? Do you think he's wrong? Do you think we're both wrong? Do you think we're both right?
It's very common in all media, books, movies, fucking poems, whatever, that if you die and is especially if you're not super good alignment, your portion at the end of whatever winnings there are get divvied up among the people who are alive.
Sure, physical treasure, but that wouldn't be XP. Your character still, again, for the purposes of being raised, as it even says here, your character did learn from that fight. Probably don't stand in front of the whatever just sliced you in half.
That's not enough for experience points.
It would be if he lived through it?
Yeah.
No. That's dumb. That's absolutely
Because
retarded.
he actually succeeded.
Mm-mm.
You don't get your portion for failing. Failing is for losers. Losers don't get anything.
Okay. Says the guy who cheats at every video game.
Sure. Not against other people.
What if you die at 99% of the battle? Well, according to him, you're dead.
No, you're just dead. I don't care if you died at 1% or 99%. You didn't cross the finish line. You don't get shit.
All right. The results of the number of experience points that each of the participating PCs and NPCs gain from the encounter. Okay, the result is the number of the experience points. Got it. If the characters valiantly fought but did not defeat monsters, they were chased off or defeated and captured. The characters receive only 1/4 of the calculated experience points.
Nope.
You still learn something.
Yeah, you learn that you suck. It sucks to suck. Again, you didn't cross the finish line. Nobody did. So nobody gets anything. God damn, this book is very socialist.
This book is actually, I'd actually say that it's kind of wrong in the regard to, people learn more from failures than they do from victories.
Psychologically, they get destroyed though.
Maybe some do, some don't. If the encountered monster is not listed in chapter 14, follow this procedure instead. So if you make up your own nonsense,
sure.
Find the monster's base hit die and the number of asterisks beside its hit die. Dice. Sure. Ignore asterisks you find anywhere else. Only the ones by the hit dice number have any relevance. Okay, jeepers creepers. If this is a monster you've created yourself, give it 1 asterisk for each significant magical ability it has. If the monster is a character, he uses experience level for hit dice. If he has magical item. Now, by the way, just let me backtrack here. If the monster is a character, this is important for when you're fighting things like bandits, other NPCs. You decide for whatever reason you decide to fight the sheriff of Nottingham here, and you want to fight him. This is where this becomes more relevant. Use his experience level for hit dice. If he has magic items, give him 1 asterisk for every combat ability he has from a magic item. If he has magic spells, give him an asterisk for every 2 spell levels he has memorized. Rounding up. Thus, a character with 7th level spells would have 4 asterisks. Or 2, 4, 6, and then you round up for number 7. Compare the monster's hit dice and number of asterisks to the experience points for the monster table. Hopefully we'll get that in a minute. Let's actually just see. There it is. So we have 7. I don't know if it's going to be 7 or 7 plus. We'll get to that in a moment, but you can see that we have the chart here. We will come back to that. Use the table to calculate how many experience points the monster is worth. Repeat the process for every other monster characters encountered in this incident. If all monsters are the same type, you only need to calculate the monster once and then multiply just as you did above for all those ogres. Add these numbers together. Perform steps 4 through 7 from the list immediately above this one. All right, what do these asterisks mean? 1 asterisk is placed by the hit dice of the monster for each of its special abilities. Generally, a special ability is a power that can be used in melee, but which is not characteristic of basic survival skills. For example, a flying creature does not get an asterisk for good maneuverability, but it may have a swoop ability. Any creature able to cast spells gains 1 asterisk for each 2 spell levels. Wow, and a K followed by an F was hard to say. That it can memorize. Round up again. A magic user can memorize up to 3rd level spells, gets 2 asterisks. A spellcaster's experience level is used for the calculation instead of his or her hit dice. Why is that in there?
Spellcast experience level is used for the calculation instead. Do they mean spell level? No.
No, no.
Experience level. So it'll remember your hit dice stop at 9, right?
Well, there's another reason for it though. It's because the wizard only gets a D4.
Well, yeah, but he's D4 hit dice, but still the same amount of hit dice as everybody else. But you stop getting hit dice at level 9, right? If you're a player or an NPC.
Yes.
So now
I get that would be true. That would be true as well. I guess I was looking at for the lower level side of it, where it's like, well, it's it's a D4, so that's actually a half a hit die. No, you still call it a
it's still called a hit die, but using levels now because the difference between a level 10 guy and a level 36 guy is vast.
Yes.
So
the amount of spells and everything.
More experience for the level 36 guy.
Yeah, I was looking at it from the lower level side, but you're right definitely for the higher level. If a creature has magic items with attack powers, add one ability for each combat ability of such an item. Got it.
Okay.
Defensive and miscellaneous effects should add no asterisks unless they have some real effect on the encounter. Any creature with spell-like attack powers,
like a dragon's breath or basilisk gaze or whatever.
Level drain, all the fun ones.
Yeah, fun ones like that.
Gains one asterisk for each such power. For example, the White's ability to drain experience levels, here we go, is a spell-like attack power. Can that be counted as 2? That's a pretty nasty one. Again, defensive or miscellaneous spell-like powers do not normally add asterisks.
I don't know. Being invulnerable to normal weapons, I think would add an asterisk. Personally. Because that is a big hampering in defeating it.
All right, and it finishes up by saying, though certain exceptional defensive abilities may do so. All right, let's take a look at this chart here real quickly. So, if you're fighting a one-hit die Heathen Dog,
woo,
his base XP value is only worth 10 XP. You're going to have to kill a lot of him in order to level up.
For every asterisk I have, you get +3. So
yeah, but I don't think...
if I had a what do you call it?
You don't have any special powers, so...
What if I had magic missile? Pew pew.
But you're a thief, and I don't even know
if right. I don't have any. Well, I guess if I used my backstab attack, right?
Theoretically, that one is on. That's a gray area one for me. I could see it.
But it's not magical based, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So probably.
Well, it does talk about natural as well. I guess I might consider that natural, but. The point is that would be something that's up to the game master. I personally wouldn't hyperfixate on this. 10 is such a nice, easy number. 13 is such a dumb number. I'd probably just say 10 or say 15. Like that would be me. But hey, and I am very pro experience points. I don't like milestones that much, although I kind of use a hybrid system. So I actually like to do these calculations to get them up. I just like them to be nice, easy numbers and not 3s and 4s and stuff like that. All right, let's modify these values. You may modify the experience point value of any creature if it proves tougher or easier to defeat than its abilities would indicate. For example, defeating a 36 level magic user would normally bring around 35,000 experience points. It'd be counted as a 36 hit die creature, so base of 6250, that can use up to 9th level spells, so 5750 times per asterisk times 5 asterisks. Hold on a second here.
Jesus.
Where did we get this? Okay, so I want to see up to 36 level. 20 to 21 does a chart. Oh, yeah, for every hit die. Oh,
every hit die over 21, add 2.
Yeah, I don't want to do that math. Okay. Right. Never mind. Not on stream. Off stream, no problem. On stream, no. So, okay, but at least that's where they're getting the math from. Is 28,000, but if the party disintegrates him by surprise before he can cast a single spell, they should earn less experience. For instance, the base of 6250 experience points with the characters receiving no points from the victim's spell powers. I'm okay with this.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand it. I'm not on board with it though. Because if you one-shot the big bad, that's not an accident. You planned it. You had a successful plan and you Hannibaled it perfectly. It came together.
But remember, they're already going to get double this for the adventure. I'm okay with this. Actually, to be honest, why am I okay? I actually employ a very similar rule to this. If you essentially one-shot something that was supposed to give you 100,000 XP, but because it was supposed to be an epic fight, you're not getting 100,000 XP. That's just, I'm not going to do that. You're going to earn it based on how much your characters put in. You deserve something. Absolutely. Like he said, you came up with a really good plan. That's probably, from my aspect, that's probably some good role playing right there. The adventure, using the terms in this book, the adventure. You succeeded at the adventure. I'll give you some there. But for the fight, are you going to earn 30,000 or whatever? There's 35,000 for that. No, I think the 6,250 is good. Or maybe something in between. I mean, I like the rationale here. With the characters receiving no points for the victim's spell power, so they still defeated it. They still get through it.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I get it. I understand where it's coming from, and I'm not going to say it's wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would take in the totality of the situation. What did they have to do to get there? What's going on around them? What if this was the only spell they had left because they were just looking for a room to rest in? That could absolutely change some things.
Had to blow disintegrate on a kobold. Damn it.
Right. Of course, that wouldn't be worth 35,000, but hey,
probably not. No, but it's like,
heck
you
of a
only get 10 because like, come on, dude. I've had to blow a disintegrate spell on this little giant rat. Come on.
Well, congratulations for saving it. By the way, he turned into such glitter dust for you.
That's great. Thanks.
The DM can add or subtract asterisks for exceptional defenses relative to the PC's party. For example, a gargoyle gets 1 bonus for its immunity to normal weapons, since low-level characters are usually equipped with few, if any, magical weapons. I don't even know how this is going to end, but as of right now, I like this paragraph.
Yeah.
But when high-level characters face gargoyles, this defense is no longer exceptional. DM may accordingly decide to remove the asterisk bonus.
Yeah. If they all have magic weapons, then you're right. That defensive ability doesn't matter. But if, like, 1 or 2 of them, or only one, obviously, I wouldn't face something immune to normal weapons if I didn't have any non-normal weapons. I would probably decide to, I left the ovens on and I got to go turn those off.
This is where the Friday conversation comes in. Where, like, one of the things that I will do in my D&D games is I'll give out, especially if I know something, like maybe I know they're going to fight a gargoyle, or the example I always use is shadow because it's fun, where you need a magic item to hit it. Well, now you have a magic item with charges. Because I don't like you to ask level characters to have a ton of magic items. So there you go. You might not be using that longsword +1 against the ogre or the orc because you can hit that, make it bleed. But against the gargoyle that you need to use it, well, now you can start expending some charges. So there's a little bit of economy in there. But that definitely changes how the asterisk might work. Imagine if they had no magic items. How many asterisks would it be worth?
Oh, and they actually won?
Yes, somehow won. Yeah.
Somehow won? I don't know, man. It's like 10 times asterisks right there.
There you go. All right, experience from treasure. All right, let's see what this is. Each 1 gold piece value of treasure won by a character equals 1 experience point earned by the character. So if you got 10,000 gold in treasure, you just earned 10,000 experience. Notice it says the character, not the party.
Right. Because it is possible that the thief stole all your money and ran away at the end of the adventure. Guess what? He gets all the XP for that treasure because it's his.
Wealth, coins, gems, jewelry, and other items of value is worth experience points. The amount of treasure found will help determine how fast the characters advance through experience levels. At the end of each adventure, the characters earn experience points based on the actual value of all treasures they have found and kept. Oh, and kept.
Yeah, see? That's what I mean. The thief at the end? Yeah. He's the big winner.
If they've sold or traded newly won treasures, they get experience points based on the money they received, not the theoretical worth of the traded treasure.
Okay.
Characters will find the very valuable portable treasures. The very valuable portable treasures such as gems and jewelry are much preferable to bulging sacks of gold coins. They're far more efficient in experience earned for encumbrance carried than ordinary coin. On the other hand, characters should take what they can get. DM decides what sort of monetary treasures are awarded in his campaign. All right.
Okay.
Types of treasure. Treasure whose values count towards experience includes treasure taken from defeated monsters and opponents, Rewards bestowed on the characters for accomplishing dangerous tasks.
Sure.
Money paid to characters for accomplishing dangerous tasks.
That sounds the same thing, but okay.
Well, this is, I guess, what you took, and this is
Oh,
what you
and
were
number
paid.
4 solidifies my view, and thief is awesome.
Money gained from thieving abilities such as pickpocketing. I mean, to be fair, there is risk reward there, especially at your level. What's your chance to pickpocket?
Oh, stupid low.
So, you know what? Those 3 gold coins you got, have your 3 XP.
There you go.
Salaries for ordinary jobs do not count towards a character's experience points. Notice it says ordinary jobs.
Well, Mike Rowe has a problem with that.
Well, Mike Rowe isn't adventuring.
I don't know, man. If having done all the things he's done, I think he'd be a good adventurer.
I think he's a riffs crazy. He's got some psychological trauma from some of those jobs he did.
There's an argument.
Characters only get experience from money obtained during dangerous or challenging experiences. So no, arm wrestling the barmaid does not get you experience.
And if someone wants to say, well, stealing from the rest of your party is not a dangerous or challenging experience, you can go to hell, because it's very dangerous.
All right, experience of magical items. We don't recommend that you award characters full experience point value for the sale of their magical items. I wonder why that is.
Explain why?
Yeah, right? Sale of a rare item may bring a character vast amounts of unearned experience and upset the balance of your game. But also... What?
I disagree.
It would also give one character a lot more experience points than the amount received by characters who don't sell their magical items, which could upset the other players. I don't care about number 2. Number 1, I do care about a little more. Let's see where this is going, though. If a character sells a magical item, first find out how much it costs to create the item. Okay, the sale price will be at least twice that gold piece amount. Really? Okay, but the experience points gained by the character will be a maximum of 10% of the money value it took to create the magical item in the first place. So
then why do
5%?
God, you just added a bunch of extra steps that don't matter to get to the final total.
So So really, what it's saying is 10%
of what it takes to make it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Or 5% of what you sell it for. However you want to look at it.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
The DM may reduce the amount of experience points still further if he thinks the character is profiting unfairly.
Profiting unfair? What the hell?
What it's saying there, and I agree with it, is it's not going to let you min-max crap like this.
I understand, but the thing is, if you're in a group and there's magic items, does one guy go, "Oh, this one's mine. Suck it, everybody"?
I've seen that.
Yeah,
would work well in my groups, but
you know that's the awesome part of me being a thief. I just take it
and get caught 90% of the time.
Well,
at your level,
I'll wait until he's gone.
Okay, get caught 80% of the no. Yeah, I can see both sides on that one. You know me, I like slow leveling. So I usually lean towards anything that kind of prevents you from...
The easy answer to this is that if you acquired this item as a group and you're selling it, you divide amongst everyone. The same way experience points goes if you all defeated a creature together.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, this magic carpet is worth, because people will buy it for 20,000 gold. There's 5 of you. Well, guess what? Each of you gets 4,000 experience. Good job.
I've actually seen people do it that way.
Yeah. I mean, you already have a mechanic for dividing experience. Use it. Why make up a new thing?
All right, so now for exceptional actions. And I'm just going to say it because nobody else is. They stole this from Palladium. Whether it's true or not, they stole it from Palladium. Okay. Maybe Palladium stole it from... Nope, they stole it from Palladium.
Fair enough.
When a player performs an exceptional action, the DM can award his character an experience bonus equal to 1/20th the base points he needs to get to the next level. You know, that 1/20th thing is a little annoying, but at least it's consistent.
Yeah.
The DM can award experience bonuses to characters who perform exceptional actions that don't belong to any of the categories above. The DM has to decide what constitutes an exceptional action in your campaign. As a rule of thumb, an exceptional action is a success that the character achieves when the DM didn't think he could or didn't anticipate the clever means by which he achieved it. There you go. That's your bonus. You're not getting all the crazy XP that you'd get from nuking the kobold with the disintegrate, but I'll give you this. You can have another 1/20th bonus added on there.
Which is probably better than what a kobold's worth, so okay.
That's true.
If I can cast Disintegrate, that kobold isn't worth a whole lot of XP to me.
There's no limit to the number of types of exceptional action in a campaign. The only rule of thumb you can use is this. If a player character tries something that is unexpected, impresses the DM and other players, does good for himself and his friends, and succeeds, then you should count it as an exceptional action.
Yeah, and succeeds. That's an important part. Yeah, if you have a great idea, that's great. Unless it doesn't work for any reason whatsoever, then it was just a waste of time.
If it failed and I still thought all the rest were true, I'd probably give you some role-playing experience for that.
Sure.
For me, just so folks know, when I say this, because I'm sure somebody in chat's acting like I'm talking out two sides of my mouth. Well, you wouldn't give it here, but what do you want? I want players... Okay, sorry, got a lot going on in my head. Let me say it out loud. I don't like it when players try to manipulate numbers. I like it when players play characters that do interesting things from characters. So if you're just trying to manipulate the numbers to screw me over as the dungeon master, well, I'm the dungeon master. I will win that fight every time. And no, it's not going to happen. But if you're doing it as something organic to the world and organic to the group and your character, I'm all about it. I want you to do stuff like that. Just don't try to trick me into using the math of the game to go, oh, I screwed you over. No, that isn't something that works.
Also, think of it this way. Try this one on. Let's say, for example, you are hiking up a mountain, and one of the players says, "Well, my character wants to, hook us all up together, so in case one person falls, that the other people could save him from falling." And he
That's
goes
standard
up the
mountaineering,
mountain,
isn't it?
hang on, and they all go up the mountain and no one falls. You would get experience for that idea as a role-playing experience, but not as an exceptional action. But if someone did fall and the rope did save them, I would give you both the role-playing experience for having the idea and having the idea come in clutch.
I could see it, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee I would do that, but that makes sense to me. The caveat to that would be I wouldn't do that every time. It was a good idea this one time, just because you do it you learned
exactly. You learned something new. Now you only get experience if it comes up clutch, not for role-playing.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
All right, the standard award for an exceptional action is the same as it was for exceptional role-playing. 1/20th the base experience points it takes the character to get from his current level to the next level. Two common types of exceptional actions include saving allies from harm and exceptional skill use. I think the first one's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. Hope you guys don't mind if I skip that one.
Yeah, it's fine.
But I do want to see what exceptional skill use is, because that's...
There is a lot of paragraphs or something that should be very easy to explain, but all right.
Especially since it's supposed to be an encyclopedia, not a lore book, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to skip to exceptional skill use. Characters can earn experience bonuses for exceptional skill use of their special character class skills and abilities. All right. Normal, everyday use of these skills should not earn bonuses, but deliberate use of those skills in exceptionally difficult situations should. For example, all right, it's got a thief, so what's Heathen Dog doing here? A thief could discover that a room has a very intricate trap on it. He knows he'll make his remove trap skill check at dangerous minus, and could be seriously wounded or even killed if he fails it. I don't care. That's your job. That's your job. That's why we brought you on. You don't have to like it. You just got to do it. In such case, the DM could award him a bonus if he deliberately takes on the task he knows is dangerous and successfully disarms the trap. Yeah, absolutely.
That's not exceptional skill use. That's regular skill use. That's what you did exactly what the skill was supposed to do. Just because it was attached to a nuke does not phase me as a game master. You just get, no. No. What I would do exceptional skill use is your class skills, using them in an interesting and much more effective way, but not breaking the skill. For example, using pickpocket to, instead of taking something out of someone's pocket secretly, put something in someone's pocket secretly. It's the same skill, just in reverse. But planting this on him caused this whole chain of events that ended up being awesome for the party, and you won things. That would be exceptional skill use to me.
And I get what you're saying. Really, to me, this reads as it should have just been up here.
Yeah, it should have been that's a whole section that didn't have to happen.
Well, I guess it is a little different than saving allies from harm. No, so I actually agree with this. I just think that they made a bigger deal out of it. If you're using remove traps,
yeah,
to just
remove a trap. That's what it's. You break it down. Yeah, it's a big trap. It's still a trap.
Am I there? I apparently had disconnected for a second.
Yeah, you didn't say anything for a minute.
Oh, so I'm going to use an example that I've actually seen happen in games. I've seen people try to use skills in very mundane ways just to get experience for doing it. No, that's what this is about.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's a very dangerous trap, but dude, I'm sorry. It's just removing a trap.
Yeah, I disagree with Heathen Dog on this one also. I think that if the stakes are higher, it's okay to award more XP for higher stakes. Now, I personally would put this under role-playing. Yeah. But...
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, especially if you role-play your intense trepidation about this trap, then you will get a 1/20th award. Definitely. Okay. But using a remove trap skill to remove a trap, I don't know what to tell you, man. That sounds normal to me. That doesn't sound exceptional.
All right, by the way, if you guys have any comments on what we're saying here about this, one of the things I say a lot we'll just say off video, which would be, on the live stream side of it, is please, for the love of God, timestamp it. If you don't like something I said, you don't like something he said, timestamp where we started saying that so that we know what you're talking about. I don't rewatch this all the way through to try to figure out. It's like, well, that was a dumb idea. You should just give out experience for whatever. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about there. So, yes, if you agree with us, if you disagree with us, whatever, and want to make a comment about it, please, for the love of God, timestamp where you did that, especially on these longer videos. Now, this is going to kick some people in the knockers a little bit here.
Yeah, this whole thing varies between table and table.
And I think that's a problem. Rate of experience gain. On average, characters should go up 1 experience level approximately every 5 adventures. At that speed, level advancement doesn't come easily enough to cause boredom, but isn't rare enough to cause frustration. Modern gamers would say that's complete frustration. Now,
well, because modern gamers only play once a month.
Yeah, that's weird. So I read, and I don't know if it's a first edition AD&D book or second edition AD&D book that puts a small tweak on this. It says 3 to 5 adventures, and that's kind of the rule that I've used ever since the early 90s or mid 90s. It's 3 to 5 adventures. But here's some very particular words in here that we're going to get pedantic about for just a moment. It says every 5 adventures. Most adventures are multiple sessions.
Yeah. That's a long time, especially if you're only playing once or twice a month. That can be 6 months to a year.
Yeah, personally, I don't care. I'm not going for the ding, 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 ding to get my character leveled up.
But you understand the fascination with the ding, 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 right?
Yeah, I understand the fascination. I'm not saying... I mean, when you're playing a game like D&D, you need the ding, ding, ding. To be honest, if you out there were to say, I'm going to run a year-long campaign about whatever, cleaning out dungeons, I just don't care, or stopping the war against the evil priests, the evil cults, and you said, look, guys, you're not going to level up. All of your advancement is going to just come from gear, personal knowledge, group knowledge, and money and riches and things like that. As long as I knew that going into the game, I'd say, okay. Very similar to like how Traveler works. Yes, I know technically Traveler, you can get new skills and so forth. But it's that idea. I would have zero problem with that, so as long as I know going in. So leveling up is just not something for me that I got to get done. But what Heathen Dog makes the point of, and he's definitely right in this, and it's unfortunate. It's a very, very sad reason that he's right. Is people don't play for as many hours as they used to. They don't play as often as they used to. They treat this as like just some sort of pastime hobby, like watching TV, instead of, as Alexander McCree says, an intramural sport that you actually have some responsibility for. So they'd complain about this. Well, keep complaining. You guys, I know it's a different game, but it took you guys, if I remember correctly, the highest circle character was 9th, which is equivalent, I guess, like a 12th level Dungeons & Dragons character or something. It took 2.5 years for them to get there. We played every week. Some of those characters were still circle 6. No, I'm sorry. The lowest was 7. 7. So between circle 7 and 9. So D&D levels 10 to 12. We'll just to put it out there in that form. And that was after 2.5 years of playing every weekend, 8.5 hours. And sometimes I still felt like I was feeding them too much.
Well, you should bury that feeling.
No, I was feeding you guys too much on occasion.
I never felt full. Let's put it that way.
That's good. You should always hunger for more. That's the exact point. Here, and a more legitimate, in terms of Dungeons and Dragons concept, fighters don't have this problem. Thieves only if they lack imagination. But wizards and clerics, I'm sorry, I refuse to accept that you understand how the breadth and width of your spells if you're leveling up every session or even every adventure. There are going to be spells you've never even used. And to me, that's a problem. And I've seen that happen with a lot of players. I didn't know what this spell does. Dude, you're 7th level. How do you not know what your spells do? Well, I just don't use this one that much. Not my fault. Not my problem. Maybe try to be a little more varied in what you're doing instead of just casting Fireball all the time. Now, various factors can adjust that rate of experience gain. Are most of the characters magic users or elves who require more experience points than most other classes? This might go up an average of once, or they might go up an average of once every 6 or 7 adventures. By the way, him being the thief, we want him to be the highest level. Yep. Don't ever sit at your table and be like, well, he's higher level than me. No, yep. If it's the thief, you're like, please, are you 1 level higher? Are you 50? Please make our thief level 36. Oh, for the love of God, make our thief level 30. And that's one thing I never understood. Well, the thief level's so fast, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and he still only has a 36% chance of removing that trap.
Crazy.
So they might go up an average of once every 6 or 7 adventures. Do you play 2 short games a week instead of 1 long one? Characters might go up a level every 8 to 10 adventures instead. Oh, they're using the word adventure as session.
Yeah. It seems like.
Do you play once a month or less? And so Heathen Dog was stating in here earlier, I don't disagree with him. I disagree with the concept of just because you play once a month doesn't mean you should level up faster. Sorry, just don't believe that. You might think about adjusting experience gains so that they go up a level once every 2 games so that the players don't become frustrated by their slow rate of progress. Again, stop complaining about that. You're playing your character.
But you have to understand, because I know you do, that players like to hit the milestones. They like to hit the achievements. And the biggest achievement in this version of D&D is levels. That is the most satisfying form of achievement.
I get it. I do get it, but they're wrong.
Yeah, and if you don't hit that for like once every 6 months, that can get frustrating.
Look at all the treasure you've got. Look at all the experience not XP, but just experience in the game that you've had. Look at all the adventures you've been on. As a dungeon master, I've said this a few times, I think on the Friday streams, I've got so many monsters compendiums behind me, I could keep you at first level for the rest of your life and still not run out of creatures for you to fight. If that's what you're going for. Look at all the contacts you've made. There's so many things that happen. Now, because it's Dungeons and Dragons, I get it. Well, I can't do domain play until I'm 9th level. It's a silly facet of Dungeons and Dragons, but let's go with that. Fine. We'll get you up to 9th level, and then we'll you can do everything at 9th level, right? So anything that you're missing out on, you'll have a good selection of spells. Actually, that's a great time to play, by the way. You're not too high a level where things get really chaotic. You're at that good power base. Every group's going to play differently. I wholly understand that, but players that are just looking for the ding, I just don't respect them. You know, just because you level fast, I want to be clear about this, just because you level fast doesn't mean I hate your game. I'm just saying, if that's all you're looking for is like a computer game, how many cows do I have to kill in order to get the next level? I don't think you're playing it right. All right. How many more pages do we got? Jeepers creepers. Maximum rate of experience gained. A character cannot gain more than 1 level experience in 1 adventure, regardless of how many experience points are awarded. By the way, that's a rule across like all I don't know about the WotC version, but all TSR versions. So yeah, you could have earned 65,000 experience points and only need 5 to get to the 5,000 to get to the next level. Well, guess what? Each adventure you're going to be gaining a level each time until you finally use up those experience points, but you can't skip levels. Maximum hit points. The DM should always insist on seeing the player roll the die to gain his character's new hit points. I love that. It's saying, no player, get in front of the Dungeon Master. Yeah, I'm cool with that. The maximum hit points possible for any human character is a combined total of the roll of 9 hit dice, any constitution bonuses, and the given hit point gains for additional levels. For an 18 constitution and maximum die rolls, these totals are shown in the maximum hit points table. Well, let's see. Do we have that table here? Oh, look at that. I love it. A nice little handy chart to see if your players are cheating. The literal maximum hit dice you're going to have at level 36 or in level 25, level 15. The most you can ever get out of your con bonus, because Constitution maximum is +3 and you only get 9 hit dice. So 9 times 3 is 27. So there you go. If your cleric, for some reason, has 130 hit points, guess what?
He cheated.
He cheated. If you're thinking, what's the maximum Heathen Dog can have? 117. Well, it's going to be a while till he gets there.
Yep.
And he has to roll 6s every time.
Yes, I have to roll 9 6s in a row. Awesome.
You can do it.
No.
I wouldn't bet on it, but you can do it.
No.
All right. So what is it? So that showed that chart. I don't think we need to continue beating down that dead horse. All right. Maximum hit points for demi-humans. So look at that. The dwarf. Ooh, 108. What was the cleric? 108 also, wasn't it? The dwarf and the cleric max out at the same.
Wow.
Go humans.
Exactly. I mean, demi-humans suck. This is obvious. The wizard only gets 90. And he's beating the elf and the halfling.
As immortality. By the way, we are going to be talking about immortality as one of the last videos we will be doing here. There's actually a section on immortality. My understanding is that this is the one thing that really excessively breaks the mold from the BECMI version of Dungeons and Dragons, in that it treats immortality different here, because in BECMI you actually have the immortality book. That's the I at the end of BECMI. Well, let's see what it says here. Yeah, it'd be explained in greater detail in chapter 15. After reaching level 26, so you don't even have to go all the way to 36, a character can attempt to gain immortality. Immortality is just what it sounds like. Eternal youth coupled with great power. All right. So characters can achieve immortality by following one of 4 paths. A dynast, character who builds a great, powerful empire. Okay. A hero, this character who represents the ultimate ideals of heroism. Go Superman. A paragon is a character who reaches the ultimate in his or her profession.
The greatest fighter in the land.
And a polymath is a character who learns much about everything. So the jack of all trades, master of none. Okay. So following the paths listed above is not enough. Oh, that's just one step, buddy. But it gives focus to the lives of mortals. Complete and utter conviction to the tenets of their empires, professions, and beliefs open the ultimate pathway to the power and gift of immortality. That paragraph was not needed. There are times when you want to play a character. You want to play. Oh my God, why can't I read? There are times when you want a player to create a new character who starts at higher than first level. There is a lot of fighting on this one. There are people who say, doesn't matter if you're 15th level, if your character dies, you start at level 1. Well, my character can't do anything. Right, but if you're in with the party, you're going to still be part of all the experience points the party gains.
Yeah, you're going to get a cut to the percentage of what the total of everyone gets. When you were first level, your cut was 10. Well, they're 15th level now, so your cut's going to be, 1,000.
Right, and guess what? That might level you up, boom, 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 right away. Then
only
there are
gain one level, and then there's the thing where you can only gain one level per session, so it's going to be 15 sessions before you're back up to everybody else. I understand the other side of it. I get it.
Yeah, I don't do that personally. I don't do that
for a long time.
That's the way I look. In a game like Palladium, it wouldn't be a big deal. In a Free League game, it wouldn't be a big deal. But in a game like Dungeons and Dragons, where 5 level difference is like night and day, that's crazy talk.
A big deal. Yeah, it is a big deal. You're going to be useless for many weeks and months.
Yep. I usually do 1 or 2 levels lower than the lowest level character in the party. There has to be some punishment for you dying. Yes, I said punishment. There has to be. You don't just get to, because otherwise what you have is suicide characters. Again, haven't had to deal with that much. I didn't way back in the day. But you'll have characters that will just be like, screw it, I'll just let this guy die and just make another one. Well, you're going to be 2 levels lower than whoever the lowest level character is.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what this says here. The situation usually comes up in one of the following circumstances: when the DM believes that first level characters are too weak or unskilled for the type of campaign he wants to run. This is what we were kind of talking about a moment ago. Desired campaign may be high action, high danger, or based on a movie or book where the characters are all very powerful. Somebody was in our chat some time ago, this is like a year or 2 ago, it said that he has all the characters make their characters, and they roll randomly, but the randomness is 16, 17, or 18. Yeah, that's weird, but hey, if that's what you want to do. 3rd level or higher is recommended starting experience level. When the new character is joining an older established high-level group of PCs due to death of an older character, it's recommended that the starting experience level be anywhere from half the level of the least experienced character to 2 experience levels below the least.
Yeah, 2 below.
Hey, I guess I've been doing it right and didn't even realize
there you
go. Below the least experienced character. When the DM wants to run a D&D game module written for high-level characters or an adventure for his own creation for high-level PCs, but none of the characters in his campaign is that level. In this case, whatever is indicated on the cover of the module is the appropriate level to play. All right, so these were here. I didn't read the 1, 2, 3 bullets, but these are just the reasons you might want to do that. Got it. So we are not going to read, because this is just creating a character. Essentially, you're creating a character from scratch, but you're adding in experience points. So I'm not going to read this. I don't find this to be.
It's just character creation
with extra
highlights.
steps. Yeah. And it does talk about giving magical items. I'm glad the section's in here for Game Master. Again, I don't know why Dungeon Master would be stressed about this, but okay. Do your thing. Visual campaign. Yeah, these are all about that campaign. Yeah, we're done. Honestly, we're done because look, great section. I'm glad it's here for dungeon masters who can't actually use their own judgment on this stuff. And this is a cyclopedia, so that means it's going to have a lot of rules and nuance in here. But it's not something we need to go over in this read through.
Right.
I hate skipping steps and read through, but I have to skip that. Next, we'll be talking about non-player characters in the next video.
Okay. Well, right now we're going to talk about some stuff here. George says, I wish XP be removed when a player is slowing things down and not paying attention. You do remove XP because as the game master, you give XP at the end of the day, right? Well, you're just removing from that. You make a note, minus 100, minus 200, minus 25, whatever. You make a note. So at the end, you do remove from him. He's done by not giving it to him. Now, I understand you probably meant remove from his existing total. That is an easy way to cause a player to throw something at your eyes. It really is. But he's less likely to throw something at your eyes, nose, or mouth, or throat if you just happen to give him less because of dumb crap he did. He still might be angry, but not enough to stab you in the eye with a pen. right? There you go.
Once again, do you remember reasons that I would dock experience points from people? Remember any of them?
Specific reasons, no.
Okay. I have various reasons. First of all, if you're disruptive at the table, minus 250. And by the way, I'm making up the numbers. It really depends on your
game.
Yeah, it depends on your level, type of game, and so on and so forth. But minus 250. You really mess up somebody's either heroic or we'll call it emotional moment, because I am a role player. That minus 250. Show up late. Minus 250. There are many reasons. I have zero issues doing negative. Now, I don't do it often. I know when I talk and when people take the things I say, it sounds like I'm always like, how do people gain any experience in your games anyway if you're just slow leveling?
That's why. That's how they do it. They show up on time. They don't disrupt the table. Guess what? They get experience just like everybody else.
Right. I also base it on how... So he and Doc talked earlier about how good a character is in terms of charisma checks or whatever. We'll say thespian ability when getting XP.
Yeah, player action versus character action, which is more important, which adds, which doesn't.
But if you are within your limits, you might not be a charismatic person, but I see you giving that effort, I will give you experience points where I might not give it to him, knowing full well that he can do it with ease. It really depends on what you're doing. Again, don't be disruptive. A lot of things, but
don't step on everybody else's moment just to get yours in. Right. That's kind of a dick move.
Right. So, but yeah, as far as negative XP goes, I am not against that at all. Just don't be a dick about it. Sometimes people make mistakes, and that shouldn't necessarily be worth negative XP. So,
okay. Then we have the Drama Goblin saying, I find having a chart for some of the abstract ones, XP gains, for things helps with setting good precedents. The party goals, for example, I write quest goals with XP reward type of things. Now, that's what Palladium did. That shows you exactly these are the things that you can do, and these are the experience points you get for doing these things. Being heroic, saving lives, defeating an enemy, defeating a weak enemy, medium enemy, strong enemy, all that stuff. If you want to write that up so everyone's on the same page, that's great.
I like conceptually, I like it as well. I did that with my Earthdawn games. Sometimes it was written into a module if I was using it. Sometimes I did it on my own if I was like, if they do this, it's worth 100. But if they do this other thing, it's only worth 50.
There you go. Then we have, thus the reason for Gandalf telling the others, fly you fools, so he could get all the XP from the Balrog. Yeah, this is obviously, we're talking about dividing up the experience per creature. So if Gandalf was the only one who ever fought the Balrog, which he was, then he would win. The problem is that he died. But I will give it to him. He crossed the finish line first. He defeated his opponent before dying. This is obvious. So he did get all the XP. Fair enough. Fair enough. If he had died a moment before the Balrog, I'd be like, ha ha! Die for nothing, fool.
See, maybe I'm more of a dick in this one. I'd give you your soul the XP.
Well, the thing is, he was immediately rezzed, right? And you just brought that up. Yeah. The XP is used for the res.
Yeah.
Right? So it's gonna take off what he just got rather than eat into what he already has.
What?
When you're resurrected, you lose experience points, right?
I don't know about this version of the game.
Okay, well, in many versions of the game, you lose experience points and or levels. Well, this experience point will go toward buffering that after he was rezzed. And the thing is, in this instance, he was rezzed stronger because he was rezzed by God. So I guess that
I don't think you actually lose XP even in second edition, not for a res.
Really? Okay. Well,
restoration, you come back with 1 hit point, but I don't think you lose experience there either.
Well, in this book, it specifically cited resurrection as a reason why XP totals you get when, even if you die. So take that for what it will. Captain Conway says, violent character death is by definition one of the most, if not the most important moment in a character's life. Talking about XP for it only cheapens that experience, as is rezzing. Here's the problem. The moment you die is only the most important moment in your life. It's if it's the last one. But in a world where resurrection's a thing, it's not the most important moment in your life. The next moment is.
I want to. Captain Conway, you're going to hear this a lot from me. It's a game. It's a role-playing game, but it's still a game. There are going to be some aspects that are gamified. We all have our different lines in this one. I know, like I said, the 4D crowd doesn't like a lot of the gamification. You got the simulation, not simulation, oh my God, what do we call Bruce? Oh my God, skirmish. The skirmish gamers want it to be so close to a war game you can barely tell the difference. They're going to want all the numbers and all the XPs and so forth. And then I fit somewhere in the middle of that. I want to maintain the game aspect that it is a game, but I want to include the role-playing side of it as well. And so talking about XP for somebody dying, for me, it reminds me that we're still playing a game. And that, that character is just what do they call him, a pog? What are those little, meeple. It's just a little meeple out there that, spending his day in the world of Dungeons & Dragons.
Then Captain Conway came back and says, that's stupid. We're going to find out exactly what he's talking about in a second. If your players came out with an optimal manner to deal with a villain, then they should be rewarded and not penalized for it. Otherwise, it incentivizes players to just fight everything. That is true. And Max said that, well, while you probably won't get all the asterisk bonuses because you bypassed all of his special abilities by shooting in the back of the head, you will get his base, and then you will get at 1/20th for a good plan, and maybe even another 1/20th for good roleplay.
Well, also, the more epic the fight, so to speak, the more I feel you deserve. If I don't do this exactly this way, but just for the visual. If your fight is boom, shot him in the back of the head, dead, he's worth 10,000 XP. No. But if you're 10 rounds later, you're at half your hit points, you've used up a couple of your spells and so forth, absolutely. Even if it was basically an easy victory, but it's something that slowed you down, used up your resources, etc., that would be worth more XP. And I stand by that stance.
Okay. Walter comes in. As in, if you're only 20 XP away from your next level, you only get one. No. I think he's having a misunderstanding of what the 1/20th is. It's not 1/20th of what you personally need to go to the next level. It's 1/20th of the base needed to go to the next level. So if you need to reach 5,000 to go to next level, you get 1/20th of that every time you get a 120 award, not 1/20th of what you have left to get there. 1/20th of the total. So if you get a 1/20th reward 20 times, you are guaranteed to go up a level. Guaranteed. Because you got 20 20ths. That's one. It's one level. So no, it's not a fraction of what you need. It's a fraction of the total required. So that's an excellent distinction.
So interesting note before you read that.
Okay.
This game does not have the spell Resurrection in it. Resurrection is a concept, not a spell. The spell is Raise Dead and Raise Dead fully.
Okay.
So Resurrection in its usage in that chapter is conceptually.
Fully, right?
What's that?
I mean, that would be like Raise Dead fully.
It'd be anything. It'd be Reincarnate, Raise Dead fully. Be any of the Resurrection is a generic term that it's using that you were dead and now you're not.
Right. Okay. I think that should read 1/20th of however many XP you need for your next. Yeah, that's exactly how it does read. Yeah, that's exactly how we read it as well.
Unless there is a misprint in one of them, I know that's exactly how I read it multiple times. There may have been one of them that was misprinted, though. I don't know.
And that is all of our starred comment.
Okay, well, that was not quite as painful as I thought it was going to be because of 4 freaking pages of walls of text, but we also got to skip half of it, so that was good there. I look forward to talking to you all in the next video about NPCs. This one's This one's 2 pages, and it's got a couple big charts in there, so hopefully it won't be as long. But we're going to talk about retainers and mercenaries and specialists and all types of fun stuff like that. Hopefully you're enjoying this Rules Cyclopedia read through, I'm getting a lot of positive commentary. I thought I was going to get more negative commentary, but that's good. Getting a lot of positive commentary about this, about our discussions on it, even when people don't agree with us. And some people apparently have started going back and playing Rules Cyclopedia. Like, oh my God, because of your videos, we started playing Rules Cyclopedia again. I miss those times, and it's been so much fun. So, hey, if our boring read through is got you playing the game again, that's amazing. I'm happy to hear that, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.